Hey, you were in that video.
I think I knew that guy.
Yeah. Good-looking guy.
Wait, is that the Incon?
What?
From Envy?
Oh my God.
The team that didn't make it to Worlds?
They didn't make it to Worlds?
Hey, the Envy boys, though, did make it through the open bracket. Right now, they're going to be in the finals tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So they may be on the main stage.
Congratulations.
Minus you.
Minus me.
Okay.
I'm on this stage.
you're in the backstage. Well, actually, speaking of, as a matter of fact, before I go too far ahead of myself here, do want to mention that after this matchup, we have the Xbox Smite competition that will be taking place. So nothing from us. You won't get our dash and go looks, all four of us. But you know what? You'll get some other guys. You have some other guys.
Today is going to be Cognitive Gaming versus Aware Gaming. That's of course going to happen after this match. The QG Reaper is taking on Avant Garde. There'll be no Xbox tomorrow as I believe the open bracket finishes up, and then on Saturday it will be the other semifinals, Eager versus that open bracket team. Potentially Envy minus Incon.
Yeah, minus Incon. So that's going to be our Xbox matchups that will be coming up after this match here. So this is our last PC Smite match. And speaking of, we have to go ahead and get into this because we have QG Reapers versus Avant Garde, another international matchup. We saw first-seeded OMG come out huge in their game against Isurus, sending them home. Now, could QG do the same thing against Avant Garde? I have a feeling this is going to be a much different matchup, given how well Avant Garde played at the beginning, of their game against Enemy. Thoughts?
I'm done predicting, Golden Boy, because you're just going to trump me every time.
I'm not telling you to predict. We'll save that for later.
Coming to this, I said Avant Garde was the best international team in this competition outside of North America and Europe, and they really got shut down in their first round matchup against Enemy. But to be fair, Enemy obviously have come prepared. They were able to upset Fnatic as well. So I think Avant's also riding well off of that. Just seeing that match where, okay, we lost to the team that just beat Fnatic. I think Avant are going to come into this confident, and the biggest thing I've seen from these international teams going up against the North American European competition has been how scared they play or how passive they play and how timid they play. And when they're when the international competition, when they face each other, it's not as bad.
I agree. I think that this is honestly going to be one of the closest matchups of the day. This is going to be the hardest one for me to predict because QG and Avant Garde, they both had first games that they didn't prefer, right? They didn't go into those games going out of them. They're like, oh, it was close. It wasn't that close, no. Right? So, but they're on equal footing in that sense. So it's really going to be who has gathered up the most since, and they've come back together and say, hey, we got another shot of this. We're not out of it yet. We win this game, and we're getting more money. And that's what matters, right? That's why you're here.
Yeah, again, it's a big opportunity for both teams, right? For QG to be able to have two Chinese teams in the top 8,
yeah.
That's big for professional Smite out in China. Alternatively, for Avant Garde, I think if you think about the match they had against Enemy. So long as they just keep in mind that whatever happened there happened already, right? And you just move forward. This is it, right? This is your last chance in this competition. I want to take this one over to you though. So you're Avant Garde. What is the first thing that you're thinking about in regards to, and I already know the answer to this, but for those at home, what should you not do against QG?
Well, you should probably not ban Anubis. Let that through, let him pick it. Yeah. My predictions for this is if QG pick Anubis, then I think Avant Garde are going to take this. If they don't, then I'm giving it to QG.
They need to stay away from Anubis.
They really do. He's just not a good god. I love it, but it's too much fun, not enough good.
I don't think the crowd agrees with you. They were pretty excited when Knight locked at Anubis.
Yeah, but were they excited when he got any kills or did anything?
I don't hate the Anubis pick, but I think that he's honestly going to be leaning towards Zeus. We saw that Zeus was banned out against him in that match, and I imagine that's where he's going to be going towards as long as it's open.
Yeah, that's right. The Zeus actually we saw Zeus actually do a lot of work in the previous 2 games. So this could very well be the case here if they do manage to get that. But also, if you are, your opponents, you're thinking, okay, we're going to ban out Zeus, right? I mean, there's no skin off their back, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. Avant Garde coming into this, I think that they're still very reliant on their jungler Rowe, and I think that's going to come to be a big part in this matchup. We actually saw Rowe try and be aggressive against Enemy early on in his matchup. He actually had a very early gank on that duo lane that just barely went south. and then actually enemy had a massive rotation because the Hunter Subfloor tried to be aggressive while Rowe and Biggy were backing off, and because he was lagging behind, he got caught and picked by a just for first blood. And then after that, Biggy and Rowe are trying to help him. They're not just going to leave their player there, and they ended up falling as well as a 3-for-1, and then enemy from there were able to slowly snowball the game out of control. So I think it's going to be very important for Avant Garde to try and secure this first blood, and we've seen that a lot. Like, the first blood has given teams confidence.
Oh, it's very true. I mean, what better way to start a game? You get that first kill. It's hype, right? You're in the booth. You're screaming at your teammates. You're energetic. And again, for you, Incom, that must play such a big role, right?
Yeah, so first blood, when you think about it, it's not the end of the game in terms of experience gain a gold game. Like, it's nice, but it's certainly not putting any games away. But what it is important for is the crowd. The crowd loves first bloods, and they love when people get the action going. And so being able to hear the crowd cheering for you that early is a huge deal in terms of momentum and how you're feeling, how happy you are.
Yeah, it's going to be really telling who gets that first blood. And, we'll get into all that good stuff later. Picks and bans coming up in just a second. But before we do, let's go ahead and toss it over to Sean.
Thank you so much, Alex. I am here on the stage. How are you guys doing? One more time. Your energy makes this super easy. It also makes it really easy to stand in between these two awesome contenders. Doing so well today. We'll start off with you, Biggy. How's your day been so far?
I mean, it wasn't nice to get dumpstered, I guess. But other than that, everyone's been super nice. A bunch of local, I didn't really, it's like hard to know whether you have fans here or not, but a bunch of local people and from interstate have come up to me and said, good luck, we're big fans, and like chatting to me, so it's really nice to know. Guys, come on, make some noise if you're supporting, come on. You've got some serious fans here. These guys are giving you, what would you like to say to them in this opportune moment? I think it's pretty cliche, but I mean, thank you. Like, when there's no Smite without fans, so yeah, thank you. Well, I can tell you that I can speak for all these guys and everybody that's here. It's awesome to have you here, so thank you so much for being part of it. Now, on this side night, the last time you broke everybody. What would you like to say this time?
Good luck, QD fighting.
Good luck, a man of few words. Guys, one more time for these two guys, Knight and Biggy. Are you guys ready for this? You still got some energy, more taste for more Smite? Come on, guys, this is the Smite World Championship. I want to hear you one more time. Oh, be still, my beating heart. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Let's get this one underway because we're going to go in to picks and bans.
All right, thank you so much there, Sean. Okay, so big crowd here for Avant Garde supporting them, and that's going to be a good one. Let's see how they progress in this picks and bans, which, of course, as we know, is one of the most important parts of all of competitive Smite. Adonis, what are you looking for here?
Right. Well, I mean, I kind of want to go back to that interview. Knight, when they faced Fnatic, he was talking some trash. This time it was a good luck. I think he's trying to switch it back up again.
Keep it nice and modest, So there goes Sol and Giannis are going to get the boot there for Avant Garde and QG. And Ataraxia, thoughts in regards to that?
I mean, pretty standard bans coming out. The Chiron, again, I'm surprised at this. He's had a 2-game showing, right, by both the Latin American and the Brazil teams, and I think he, 1-1, last one. Not quite sure if he's worth the ban, but if they think so, then they think so.
It's hard, though, leaving characters like Xing 10 open. He can still be banned right here, but you are leaving a lot on the table. And there's the Xing 10 ban. That's a very smart ban. But now you pick Bellona, and you kind of go uncontested, right? Normally, Bellona's open and Xing 10's open. Oh, okay, we're going to get one or the other. Not a big deal.
And Avant really like picking for Sporks anyway. They like getting him on a comfort god and basically having the most dominant soul laner right now with Xing 10 down. No surprise on that pick. That first pick, I think, is probably one of the best things if not, that has to be the best thing they could pick. But also, Zeus is left open for Knight here.
That is true. He has his pick open. He also has his Anubis open. I'm just saying if he wants it. I know the crowd wants it, but there's that Zeus that we thought he'd be leaning towards since it was not banned out. And I think that is definitely the smarter pick here is the God of Gods.
Is it going to be the Khepri paired with it, though? That's what we've been seeing, that if Khepri and Zeus are left open. But no, it's actually Sobek, and this is actually, I think, more at a shot at Avant. I don't know how often QG really play this, but Avant Garde loves Sobek in both the support and solo role, and now Bellona's going solo, but Biggy's still a very aggressive support player, so taking that away from him, I like it.
I think for sure that is definitely a research pick. It's a bit dicey leaving the Khepri open for Avant to take as they just did, but Sobek is very good against Bellona in solo, and they do play it in support, so if they want that Sobek for the solo matchup, then they need to get it now. And unfortunately, they did drop the Khepri, and it looks like it's going to be a Bellona jungle.
Honestly, that Sobek doesn't surprise me that much. We know that If and MasterLu love to run kill lanes, and what's more of a kill lane than a Sobek? Only if he had his new skin right now.
Oh, the Kaiju? He can't play it anyway.
Oh, but so pretty though.
No, I actually think this Guan Yu is going to be jungle though. Rowe has practiced and played this before.
Really?
Yeah, like I said, he'll pick anything for the team. I guess he could go Bellona, but I think they want to put Sporks on something more comfortable, and that would be the Bellona.
So we got Guan Yu jungle?
Guan Yu jungle, yeah.
So is DJ Pernicus
DJ Pernicus.
Okay.
And he goes the same build. It's like Bluestone, breastplate, heals a lot.
It's a shame. I'd love to see the Guan against the Sobek. He has quite a good matchup. It's one of the few that Guan actually gets pressure early, so we can actually have an impact before teamfights start. So maybe they'll switch it up, but I guess you're right. They do
tradition, Guan Yu typically goes to the jungle.
Yeah, that's true.
You think that Thanatos ban was in response to what we saw from them in that last game?
For sure.
The Thanatos ban was definitely as well a part of the fact of having Khepri, right? When you have Khepri, you don't want to deal with a character that can make your ultimate completely useless. So you have to ban out a character like Thanatos. That, of course, has been actually getting quite a bit of play this tournament, although not super successfully.
And Agni also gets banned earlier, so what?
Here's the kill lane.
They run.
Oh,
it's the Sobek Cupid throwback. They ran this in the regional event as well. Actually, I think this was the game that QG took away from OMGB in the grand finals. They ran a Sobek Cupid dual lane and just kind of dominated.
Yeah, they ran Medusa in all of their games, the ones that they lost, the 3 that they lost, and then the one they won was with a Cupid. I am a big fan of Cupid in terms of his kit. I love to play Cupid. He's a lot of fun, but I don't really, he's kind of annoying a little bit. So it's a pleasure to watch. I'm just glad I don't have to play him, and hopefully the voice lines will be a bit quiet this time.
He's an incredibly fun god to play, but incredibly annoying to play against.
Yeah.
As you say, nobody wants to get heart bombed for half of their health at level 3. But we see this incredibly tanky lineup coming out from Avant Garde, finishing up with an Isis that gives a circle of protection, which for all intents and purposes makes you tankier and is a giant heal. And I do love the Hui pick coming out for the extra penetration, as well as even more circles coming out from that team.
Hui is a very good pick against that team, except for against the Cupid. Hui is a very... it's a dangerous pick against Cupid because he doesn't have any CC immunity to get him out of the ult. So if he doesn't get that snap jump up before Cupid's cripple comes in, then he's going to be in trouble. And especially against Sobek, he's going to get knocked out of his jump more times, and it's going to really annoy him.
Wow, and a Hades pick for the final. All right, boys, let's do it. Picks, go. Start with you.
Avant.
QG.
QG. All right, let's go. Let's see how all this pans out, folks. It's going to be our final matchup for PC Smite today. Avant Garde versus QG Reapers. Who is going to take it and move on to tomorrow? Who will be going home? Let's toss it to the casters.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. And for the conclusion of day number 1 of the SWC, we've got an exciting one. Honestly, I can't call this one left or right. Both of these teams have put on good performances throughout the day. Where are you looking at?
Well, that's perfect that you're going to be neutral because he's going Australia and I'm going China.
You like the Chao Gu that much?
I mean, Cupid. I'm sold.
They do have the Cupid. That's something to look at. So we've got some interesting picks here going on. Really, I'm looking at the Hades. Hades is a character that, I mean, he dominates the lane. Everybody knows about him.
Hades Cupid is bro comp.
Exactly. That's really what I'm looking at. So I'm excited to see how it comes together. Now, we've talked a bunch. Defend your Avant Garde, guys. Why don't you tell us about what Australia is going to bring to the table?
Subfloor is the key to this matchup. He's got Ho Yi. We saw an amazing performance by him on this god at the PAX Australia Regional Finals. He's going to be the one to carry this team this game, and Avant Garde's going to come out on top.
Well, we'll take a look as we get into the game. We're heading in right about now, and we'll see if it all is going to be well for Avant Garde versus Kwai Gu Reapers. It's the last PC game we're going to take a look at here at day number 1 of the SWC. Don't forget, tomorrow, the day after, and of course Sunday will all be longer series. This is just the final best of 1, so it's all on the line for this one game for these two teams.
So Cupid starting out of the gate with that Transcendence Rush. Remember, Heart Bomb scales, I think, 120% damage. So getting this online with boots is going to make that Heart Bomb swing for hundreds.
It looks like Rowe and Ochita have both gone to power pot start. This is something they very much like to do against teams they feel like they have the edge on.
Rowe also, and Ochita popped them about 7 to 10 seconds early there. So I don't know why they want to be so aggressive, perhaps to set up for possible invades, but they have so much coverage around the map with wards.
Yeah, just erring on the side of caution, I think. You know, it is worth it to get those last couple of seconds to min-max, but sometimes just being a little safe is worth it.
Yeah, Avant's told me pre-game that they know China likes to be aggressive very early on. So that's what all this ward coverage is for, is to get them through those first couple levels where they think China's going to be really, really aggressive.
Right, and I mean, it's a different team, of course, but we did see that out of OMG, really coming out earlier in the day, coming out into the enemy jungle very, very early on. So QG might have something similar in the bank. Avant Garde leaning against that, playing it a little safe.
Now, for those of you out there who are North Americans who have been playing, you know, in ranked for a long time, been a fan of Smite for a long time, you actually might know Rowe. Before the OCE servers came out, he was actually playing at what he called himself as a DAT 300 ping life. He was actually a really high-ranked player.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that was him. Until recently, Knight's taking a lot of damage here. Ochita has him locked down.
One ability.
Going for it.
That's the first blood, ladies and gentlemen.
But. One more auto attack. Did he do it? No heal. Not in time. Rowe trying to do some damage. Won't be a kill here. In fact, willing to trade damage.
Answers. Very important that QG answers very quickly, but Avant Garde winds up with that bonus gold.
That turns out a little bit in QG's favor, though, because Ochita used a power pot, and he's not going to have that available, and it's just a bit of a waste.
So if you want to do the math at home, basically, this 200 gold lead for Avant is almost backwards 250, right?
Yeah. Rowe taking some damage there, just barely dodging that double tap. Oh, Cupid actually very low. How did this happen?
Just
oh.
Nice. Shouts to, well, everybody that thinks they created that one. That's a hot one on the
Just
streets.
not weakened.
I heard he got some new original emotes.
Stop it.
God bless. Anyway, there's the hug bug going in on the left-hand side. Cupid in a little bit of trouble, but he'll be able to heal up with those hearts.
This is the kind of lane I wanted to see from Avant Garde in their previous matchup. Ho-Yi for Subfloor, one of his top picks, and Biggy with Khepri plays it very aggressively. That's just his style of support, and to see them dominating the lane this early on is not really a surprise to me.
But remember, Cupid, still very strong. The issue is that Cupid at level 3 doesn't have access to his level 2 Heart Bomb. He has activated all 3 of his abilities to maintain presence in lane.
One of the big things that I think is going to be important for this Cupid is how long his dash is. His dash will take him almost from one side of the Ho-Yi ultimate to the other. So that situation where the Hunter gets stuck in those falling suns, I don't think is really going to be as dangerous for this Cupid in the lane.
Plus, remember, Subfloor has Khepri right next to him. This means that he doesn't have to worry about Fields of Love. He can take the combo and be rezzed out of it. They can trade one ult for one ult and still sit fine.
Thor's sitting here just waiting for the opportunity. Avant Garde, the second they push a little bit too far into their lane, we're going to see Thor go right into the air.
And neither of them have their ultimates available to get out of it. Biggy without the revive, and it looks like Guan's going in aggressively.
Nice. Got out of there real quick. As soon as he spots him, he turns around and abducts right out. That's what you're looking for.
And you know what Thor does? He says, okay, can I get the gank? No, but I can help zone. So he shows his face, and that just creates a situation where Avant Garde has to pull back, and they can zone them away from that dual lane.
He's trying to kind of hot step away from the Spirit Ball. She uses it just to clear. Smart. By throwing that from max range, she ensures that she's getting the experience she otherwise might have lost.
We'll take a look at the solo lane for the first time tonight. Sporks versus the Mikasa's Hades here. Level 6 versus 5. A little slight lead by the way of Hades. Probably not too surprising.
I don't know, man. For Mikasa to have been that low is pretty surprising to me.
Sure.
I mean, it's Hades. That's what Hades does. Perfect rotation from Yuanqidai.
Yeah, this is time perfect. These players are really, you can tell that they're almost timing the buffs. And look at that. It's not just the jungler, it's also the mid laner. Zeus has rotated over here to confirm this blue buff.
But on the other side of the map, the jungler and mid rotate to steal the purple. But yes. No, wait, yes.
I mean, that's the triple beam balance, right? We see that the next step so often with the gank and solo lane equals a gold fury, right? Well, an invade on the solo lane equals an invade on the dual lane if you play your cards right.
But it could be argued that the blue buff is more important than the purple buff.
There can't be an argument of that. Of course it's more important. Nothing on the dual lane matters. Except for the Gold Fury, I guess.
Maybe a little bit here or there. Ochita gonna have to now Avant Garde are gonna they see what happened over on the other side. They're gonna send 3 people to 1 buff.
Okay, so that timing, that's the kind of stuff that gives me the goosebumps, right? They get the top side purple, then they come for the bottom side purple and finish it right as red spawns. Like, oh, God bless.
Isis is one of Ochita's favorite gods. He played it a lot in the Oceanic Pro League, and he's really on point with his Spirit Balls. Look for those to influence team fights.
Knight is in the mid lane. I thought IF was going to go for the pull there. I mean, into Zeus, like, whew.
I got a little excited for that one as well.
I really thought China was going to be the Odin Zeus combo.
Really?
I really thought it was going to be them.
Maybe. Here we have a little bit of fight over the left-hand Harpies. Looks like one went to Zeus, the other went to Isis.
Possible. I actually thought that we saw both go to red. Oh, Sporks getting sent back again. He has no teleport this time. He's going to lose experience here.
Yeah, and that's the Hades effect, right? Like, Hades is just always going to be able to dominate the lane. And it's said a lot about the solo laners. So it's not always about winning the lane. Sometimes it's about learning how to lose gracefully.
He's got that Breastplate of Valor online. It's impossible to hurt him. It's impossible to stop him from clearing. I mean, this is just what Hades does. And he's doing it well. You'll note the gold difference is about 300.
Guan Yu is going to go over and help out the solo lane as well. Bellona needs a little assistance, and Hades will slink back into the lane as we take a look at Isis here in the mid lane, just doing work, trying to keep up in the farm.
Look at the disparity in player damage, though, between Mikasa and Sporks. It's more than double.
Well, I mean, Hades.
Yeah.
You know, he dashes in, then fears you into the creeps, and then hits you for, what, it's like 8,000?
Well, a big part of that could be argued that that's less the effect of Hades and more Bellona being in the wrong spot, right? Against the Hades, you don't want to stand in that wave.
I mean, you don't have to. That's the best part is if he dashes in and then hits you one time with an auto attack, the fear will pull you into the wave sometimes. You just take, like I said, it was like 8,000, right?
It's just interesting because as the Hades here, you have so many options. You could do what Brandon just said, which is just being very aggressive, right? Using the fear to go ahead and ensure some damage, or you can use the fear to interrupt the bludgeon. At this point, you don't even need to do that because Bellona already on her back foot.
I really like the early shell coming out from Biggy, anticipating that Zeus ult in the next team fight.
Biggy, speaking of going back into the lane, Subfloor there as well. We haven't seen the real famed Sobek Cupid swing here. We're looking for the pull, but I don't think. Oh, wait. Oh, nope.
Ooh, that was the attempt, but it was a little bit off the mark. If going to take a little bit of poke for that, but not too much. Already level 7, so the minions not doing too much.
But Cupid is stacking right now compared to Subfloor, who's just gone for boots. Cupid is a much more dangerous player at this point. Rowe gonna chase down, gonna force Wanchi to the air.
Oh, I thought that Spirit Ball might have been curtains, but not quite. Here we go. Cupid forcing. There it is. MasterLu with a kill thanks to the ultimate. Assist coming out, and Guan Yu going to be healed up a little bit by the Biggy. Great hug bug. But Rowe falls down nonetheless. MasterLu on the better half of a double kill if combines for another one. That's 3 kills out of the duo lane for QG. Sporks
He's got the slow from the chain lightning. He's going to have a detonate, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Oh, yeah, look at this. Trying to dive in as well. The craziness of MasterLu. But QG Reaper's coming up big in that one.
Yeah, that was a big one coming out of QG right there. Avant Garde, they started off well, but QG able to turn it around.
There was a little bit of confusion in that fight for Rowe. He was unsure whether he wanted to stay on the Ice Assault or stay in the Zeus ult to pop the Khepri revive.
Exactly. It was honestly, I mean, it looked like Avant Garde dropped the ball, but really QG just put them in an impossible situation.
So it would have been a free Gold Fury, but they elect instead for the Tier 1. The reason that this is so important is because Ochita doesn't have a form of CC immunity. By taking away that defensive route from the tower, it's going to ensure that very aggressive QG Reapers have another aggressive route into the mid lane.
And also, just noting how China has shown themselves to play. China's they're not quick to go for the objectives, right? We see them pushing their lane advantage a lot. If they continue to do that, that means they're going to push Isis onto her Tier 2 tower, making it that much longer for her to reach the Gold Fury or Fire Giant, opening up those objectives.
Rowe made a very quick rotation there to the solo lane just to absorb some more experience. Early on in Avant's kind of history, Rowe was famed for kind of a weakened style of jungling, looking to camp the solo lane a lot, help Sporks get ahead, but absorbing that experience and not staying around too long. Oh, there was a Thor ult over there as well.
I'm serious. Thor ulted just now?
Or it was a teleport, one of the two.
It's possible. No,
it was a teleport. He's got his ultimate up.
I'm like, wow, that's really aggressive.
Yeah.
My God. Onto Bellona, of all people. But Hades is level 12? What?
Yep.
What?
He hasn't rotated.
Kills?
He hasn't rotated.
Hades is also leading his opponent by about 500 gold. First item, Breastplate of Valor. Not even going boots.
No, I mean, he'll go boots next. It's possible that he goes into pen boots. It's possible he goes into cooldown. Either one will suit this build. I would probably like to see him go into a spirit robe later, so maybe go for pen boots.
Right.
Decent damage.
Ooh, the shield throw out there.
Better damage.
And there, great hit onto the ward. That ultimate, not so great.
Rowe is maybe having a little bit of trouble adapting to America, I think.
Something has happened. There's a little bit of shake going on right here in QG. They're going to take the opportunity granted by the space, and Mikasa just forcing Biggy out of the situation. 25 on that Gold Fury. Make that 0. QG picks up the gold.
I'm not sure why Mikasa didn't ult there. He could lock Biggy down right now. The abduct was down. It's back up now. He has no way out of this, though.
Stop that bug.
And he was crippled for no abduct. He was silenced for no ult. There was nowhere to go. Gold Fury plus a kill, QG.
This is quick.
Sporks has also been split pushing the whole time. He might get that tier 1 tower, but it's really not worth when the Gold Fury's down.
I mean, he's going to trade the tier 1 tower for that team fight, Gold Fury, and the tier 1 tower.
Thor's up. He's looking around, using himself as a ward. He's going to see Subfloor super deep. He'll see 2 people in mid, 1 person dead, and there's still 1 person on the map split pushing. This will be a 1-for-1 tower trade. Sporks not in a great position here. Left tier 1 to fall.
You know, I absolutely love that play out of Thor from QG. It's something that I call it the satellite ult. I absolutely love it because it just takes all of the guesswork out of whatever objective you're trying to push. That tier 1, maybe there's a rotation, maybe there's not. Hey, Thor, go up in the air.
And this is kind of what we expected to happen early game. We knew China was going to be really, really aggressive early on. They've got the kills, they've got the golden XP lead at this point. Avant Garde just need to stick into this one and get it going towards the mid to late game.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look, and you have the Bellona and the Hou-Yi, so late game, not exactly super scary, but watch out for that Zeus on the other side.
I'm just such a fan of watching the QG Reapers play. I mean, I've been so accustomed to the North American and European metas for so long, and to see someone shake the game up in such a crazy way, it really is a breath of fresh air, and it's players like Knight and IF that just make this so much more of a special event for me.
Expand on that to me for me a little bit. What about, like, what is China doing differently that really excites you?
They don't care about dying. It's awesome. They really don't. It's like when Cloud9 is like scrimming, right? It just looks like that.
Gotta go in.
They're just willing to
go
fight
in.
all the time.
I'm still going in. I will never not be going in.
I'm down.
Yeah, that's what they're about. Just keeping on. Rowe and Sporks on the right-hand side. I mean, they're really just sort of protecting their tier 1 at this point. There's nothing that they can push up to the tier 2 safely. Right now, Avant Garde just trying to keep the enemy all at bay.
EXP per minute still belongs, it looks like, to Mikasa. 745 per minute, over almost 100 right now ahead of Sporks, who is in 2nd place.
That'll do it. Yeah.
And then Cupid actually riding the top after kind of a rough early game. And Cupid is actually a really good matchup against Hou-Yi.
Mid lane. Avant Garde thought about pushing, but QG quickly finds themselves here. But another missed pluck out of If. You know, for all of good that QG has been doing, we haven't seen it out of the Sobek.
2-5. Let's go to the graphs here and show you just how QG's lead has been extended. You see, they go up a little bit, but they take it right back down with that small little hump in the middle there. That was the 1-for-1 tier 1 trade. The big spike down, of course, was the Gold Fury.
Now, that, of course, is a big one. Gold Fury about halfway to her next spawn. We'll take a look right now. With that in mind, with the fact that the Gold Fury is halfway to her next spawn, that's going to be a situation where maybe we'll see some teams stall until then.
Take a look at Mikasa. He's got Shield of the Underworld. He's going to pop that when he goes down into his Pillar of Agony and just be doing so much damage to Avant Garde.
So early, too. I mean, he's really looking to turn this one now. I mean, why not? Level 15, highest in the game by 2. Grab it.
And honestly, so Shield of the Underworld functions best when the enemy doesn't press tab, right? If you don't understand that the Shield of the Underworld, you're going to get smoked by it. So by buying this so early, it also gives you the element of surprise in that regard.
A little bit of a strange item choice out of Rowe. Actually, we see MasterLu taking a lot of damage.
He's gone.
I like that decision. You know, a lot was used for that kill, right? But Avant Garde is sitting down 4,000. You got to get it.
Was that really a lot? I mean, you got Rowe's ult, right? It wasn't that much.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
It's a 1-for-1 trade for ult plus a kill. And they don't lose the tier 2 in mid, although it kind of got crippled there. They took about 60% of its health down.
Sporks able to play enough
defense
to stop it. Knocked out of the pull is the bug. And a great wall to Thor is going to stop Sporks in his tracks. Level 14. A little bit more tanky than might have thought previously. There's a Pillar of Agony. Khepri ults himself, but it's just a matter of time. Gets out of the way one more time. If going to miss the pluck. But Biggy falls down to the Thor.
With this, Rowe has good potential for counter initiation. He has used his ultimate, but given the fact that he does have his heal, he can keep his team fresh. Look at the health bars for IF and Mikasa now.
Rowe's also got a Heartwood Amulet here, so that means Biggy's not going to have to pick it up and he's going to look for another form of magical defense.
I love that decision. I actually really love the itemization out of this Guan Yu right now. You've got that blue stone as a second item, which it's very cheap, it's very efficient, it's a bridge item. And then by picking up that aura, as you said, it just opens up the possibilities for Biggy to do different things. So sort of sharing that support role as Rowe.
On the other hand, Ochita going right into more damage. In fact, a spear before the Chronos, before even like a Pyth or a Bancrofts, he's going right into penetration. So it looks like he's trying to set up as much as possible for the team.
He's really respecting what Mikasa and IF are doing, being the front lines for their team.
Yeah, you know, I take a look at that ISIS and the penetration. It's definitely not a bad thing. But here in the situation with the team comp, with the ISIS being the main form of magical damage, I think I would have liked to see a little bit more, maybe cooldown reduction, or just something more on the utility side of things, since she's not helping anybody else really with that spear.
Mikasa in there, he's diving right to the back line. This time, Biggy a bit more patient, doesn't go for the abduct. Gold Fury does get reset, so far a wash.
That's Hades playing just like the warrior he's supposed to be, right? Just creating that space out of the solo lane so that team can look at the Gold Fury, but not looking at the Gold Fury. Instead, looking directly for the fight. Down comes Thor. He's going to be a little bit off the mark. Double tap, not going to hit either. So QG Reaper's jungler having a little bit of issue right there.
Heavenly Agility gave them a perfect disengage, but now they're trying to go back in and they're going to be lacking a 900 gold active. Sporks going in. He's going to take some damage for this one.
Ooh,
oh, and a perfect
again.
wall. He's completely stuck.
Another good wall coming out from QG. So for all the other misses, those walls are on point. It's a party of ultimates down there.
Rowe's ult has been used. They're deep into the backline. Ochita very low as IF finally finds a pull. Biggy in the backline, but a huge spirit ball. Gonna keep him out of there. Ochita will fall right after Biggy to fall as well.
Subfloor just retreating and throwing out ricochets as much as he can. Rowe has committed himself to the death. 3 down on the side of Avant Garde. QG, 0.
Wanchi's keeping Subfloor locked down under the tier 2. The rest of the team, of course, goes right for the Gold Fury, but Sporks is here. Now, there's not going to be a Parabellum chance here. Of course, they're going to stop the bludgeon. He's going down.
Yeah, that's toast for him.
He thought he was the Bellona in the cinematic.
That Bellona in the cinematic would have killed 3 of those people, taken the Gold Fury, and then probably taken a tower.
She also had Fire Giant buff, though, so you got to think about that one.
This looks just really awkward from Avant Garde. This doesn't seem like their usual playstyle. They're not really certain when to engage. They're just kind of dancing around a little bit. It's a lot of respect for QG, but they're just not being the usual aggressive selves.
Do you reckon that's because of Avant Garde? As we said, I mean, a lot of these regions are inclusive. China specifically, it's really hard to get a hold of VODs or whatnot out of China. Do you think that's just Avant Garde being unfamiliar with the way QG brings to the table?
I wouldn't say so, because they've scrimmed them a fair few times this week, so they know what the Chinese are going to do. I just think it's a little bit of jitters. You know, this is the first time that Australia is on the world stage for Smite.
Wow.
Well, let's go to the graphs here. A Gold Fury falls at 17 minutes with QG Reapers being up 10-3, and I imagine the gold lead, about 6,000 gold.
Yeah, that'll do it right now. Looking very, very strong. Our QG Reapers. China has really come out to play this year.
7,500 experience as well. I mean, MasterLu has a level ahead. Mikasa, 2 levels ahead of Bellona. Knight getting a level ahead in the middle as well. Look at this. Mikasa going right for Biggy.
Sandwich.
He's been flung back. Should have abduct, and he will get out. A little bit late there. It was Wanchi.
I love the walls that are coming out of Thor here. I mean, it's just... there's a lot to be talked about the other abilities, but the walls have been on point.
Subfloor's backed here to be part of the team fight, and that's something he's really noted for, is these rotations.
Rowe right now, again, level behind. Sporks not in a good position. Rowe going to be forced to escape as well. With the Rising Dawn on cooldown, they're going to lose a lot of potential. And look at Biggy's mana. I think he recognizes this threat as well. He's going to take the back. This will make a 5v4 power play. Watch he from the back.
Yeah, here in comes QG. They understand and they know how down. Look. There it is. Just Ochita has nothing to say about anything. If the one credited for that one underneath the tower is Mikasa, he forced Rowe into the ultimate. Mikasa gonna pay for it though. Rowe with the kill. Defense out of Avant Garde is looking strong. QG 5-on-4 doesn't matter. Avant Garde plays D strong enough to save their tier 2 middle tower.
Subfloor with a good turnaround. Gonna not dodge it. I thought he is out of there. Wanchi finds the double tap. Biggy gonna get the solar flare off the mark. QG Reapers get the beginning, but it's Avant Garde with the end.
Wanchi clearly knows how to play Thor. He got a perfect teleport to the other side of the wall at maximum range, and then hit the double tap perfectly to finish off Subfloor.
Yeah, you know, it's actually really funny. Wanchi, he's been missing these hammers and a lot of the other stuff. He's nailing them when they matter.
This is good for Avant Garde though, because they won that fight 3-2. This is confidence for them, and that's something I think is one of Avant's biggest problems, is confidence.
And that wasn't a bad fight. Like, that wasn't QG Reapers making a bunch of mistakes. That was just straight up Avant Garde doing well.
Yeah, it was just a change of understanding. Hey, look, they're going to dive us. We understand what we can do, and utilizing that tower as a 5th player very, very well. Understanding that Mikasa was going to take lethal damage, not forcing the overkill into that Hades.
Biggy very far behind not only QG, but the rest of his team as well. And that's one thing he was noted for in the Oceanic Pro League was he's very aggressive, but as a result, suffers in farming.
So far, I mean, the farming I don't think has been too terrible. Mikasa, though, has just been light years ahead of what seems like everyone in East. Level 17, granted he's been that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon you see Biggy's gone for his second item here, sorry, his third item.
Right.
I think that'll be a Pestilence. Healing reduction, you've got the Cupid, you've got the Hades. I reckon that'll be the thing that he's going for there.
Why not, right? Why not? Healing at this point in this game with this meta is very important. Remember how tanky everybody is. Getting that healing off the board in any form is a big deal.
And you can see actually QG recognizes that IF has got the weakening curse online very early to deal with the Guan Yu heals, which I think he recognizes a lot of people disrespect how much healing that actually puts out.
It's been Zapman, right? On commentary talking about the Guan Yu heal all day today.
I mean, the Guan Yu heal, what's so deceptive about it, it's a small heal, but it's so consistent, right? You throw out a little Guan heal, and it doesn't do a lot. But when you throw out 4 of them in a single team fight, now all of a sudden, everybody has 25% more HP than they did previously.
They're going right in. Mikasa starts to tank it up. They're trying to get this tower down. It is very, very low. Only about 20% remaining. Diving, no, not diving, being flung to the back line is Sporks, but he finds a way out thanks to the heavenly agility.
Thor in a situation, a look, lands on the backside, immediately finds his way out.
That was perfect. He actually pushed them away from the tower, just not long enough for them to get the kill on it. MasterLu continues to fight into the objective.
Still here, QG, mid lane. Tier 2 for Avant Garde. Previously, AG did protect this one. We'll see. It's got a sliver of HP. Honestly, this might be haphazard to even fight on it. Thor,
they don't see him.
He's not even coming around the backside. He's looking for the front side. Sporks in some trouble. Force out away from the tower. There's the ultimate underneath. Here comes Hades.
Mikasa's got 2 locked down. 4 subfloor away as Knight finds Sporks. Wanchi right back into the fight. Rowe, stun to the background, trying to fight his way out. But Knight's about to say good night as IF gets the kill.
Ochita's alive for one moment. Bang, there it is. Wanchi with the kill onto Ochita.
And right back to the mid lane they go. This will be a Phoenix. There's not enough damage for them to defend out, especially with how much healing is going down.
Fantastic play by QG. Why don't you break down what we just saw?
So Avant Garde they were just out of position, and with Wanchi in the back there, just able to get off some CC and damage, it was tremendous for QG to be able to push that tower, and now it's a Phoenix. They're looking towards Fire Giant.
Now looking towards, they're just running towards it. It's you still have 18 seconds on the Isis, right? Rowe's going to be about 10 seconds by the time QG gets there, unless they look directly for the tower.
I like this better. I mean, so many games have been thrown at a Fire Giant just because of a steal. They don't even need kills.
Yeah.
So for them to go to an objective that is pretty much guaranteed at this stage of the game, get 1,500 more gold. I mean, let's take a look at gold in hand right now. It's going to show you 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. They're going to go spend it. They're going to be up 10K.
Yeah, we'll take a look at how QG, they're just stripping the rest of the jungle, just in case. We'll take a look at how the rest of them continue going on. Here we have Avant Garde looking towards get at least what they can out of the vision, but QG really looking strong.
Yeah, they're hanging around the Fire Giant at this point. They pop a ward down, and they want to make sure they know when QG take that.
Rotating over, Sporks and Ochita aiming towards the left side. Gold Fury is available. 2,000 or 1,750, fine. F dot, don't you look at me. 1,750 gold right now is very important to Avant Garde. They can't afford any more losses. They have to not die by being bled out in gold.
One thing that I think Avant is really suffering from is that Biggy is not the initiation in this game. It's either Rowe or Sporks, but even then they haven't been initiating. They've been countering QG's aggression, and that's just something they're not used to.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing when you're talking about Khepri. From the time he was introduced into the game is the fact that there's not an initiation. You need it from somewhere else. It's Bellona's job, but we're just not seeing it.
This is a stay-free situation. Another Gold Fury for QG Reapers.
That drive by Gold Fury. Take it or leave it. Would you like fries with that? No, but I'll take a tower. Coming on the left-hand side, QG looking directly for another tier 2.
Sporks rotating in. He's used his teleport to get to this side of the map. Another 1,500 gold they're fighting for as that tower gets aggressed into once again. And it's 5v5. Uh-oh. stun coming out. Going right to the back line is Sporks trying to fight through. Subfloor gets decent damage on tonight, but they're trying to rush it down.
There's one more time, the Pillar of Agony. Where's he going to go? The answer's nowhere. Avant Garde has done a great job of pushing the enemy off. Knight picks up a kill nonetheless, but Avant Garde still keeps the enemy off the tower.
Rowe gets resurrected by Khepri. Subfloor finds a kill, but gets traded out. Is that going to be enough? Rowe needs to get this team healed up. Ochita getting slammed, but unfortunately didn't get the teleport. They're trying for it. Ochita trying to stay alive here in the back line, looking for the spirit ball. Rowe trying to stay alive as well. There goes Ochita. Rowe's trying to fight back, but Mikasa got him.
QG looking so strong in this one. Avant Garde just completely on the wrong foot. They don't know what's going on.
There's just too much to handle right now. I mean, this is exactly what QG did the last time. They went ahead, they pushed off, but Avant Garde answered successfully. And one more time, well, for the moment, they defended that tower.
So it's going to be like, hey, QG, what did you guys do for the most of the time you were at the venue? It's like, oh, well, me as hi-rez and this Sobek took this tier 2 tower. I'd say that was about 60% of our weekend.
I mean, we every time we see a hi-rez in the solo lane, right, we mention the blue buff and how abysmal it is to watch hi-rez basic attack a blue buff down, Brandon. We just watched a Sobek and a hi-rez whack, 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 whack,
and yet every time I fight a hi-rez, it seems like they kill it in 3 hits.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's just how it works. You can't even touch it.
But I mean, went into another hardwood amulet there for Avant Garde rather than something like a pestilence we were mentioning before. That's going to be a double. It's not going to stack the passes on it. Sorry, it's just going to be when he's around or when Rowe's around. That's when the main effect of it's going to be on. But I would have rather seen him on a pestilence or maybe even a bulwark just to keep him more alive in these team fights because he seems to be going out very quickly, managing to get Khepri ultimates off, but still without that hug bug there to pull some aggression away from his team. Avant's really suffering.
25 minutes into this contest, we're taking a look at how well Avant Garde is trying to hang on to things. QG Reapers significantly in the lead, 19-8. Read the kills, and there's 14,000 gold on the good side of the red squad.
Subfloor's trying to do something here. He gets a very small amount of damage.
Pluck. Ouch. Not quite.
Still dead, though.
Don't matter.
Definitely does not matter. Trading out the Hunter for a Hunter ult, probably not a bad trade, even if it doesn't go off well.
You know, if we do want to split hairs, though, that Cupid ultimate is so strong for taking down these Phoenixes. It would be really effective if Avant Garde wasn't just walking away.
Well, that's another Phoenix. They're going to go over towards the left side, start rushing it down. Shielded the Underworld and hi-rez ult are available. Mikasa trying to fight in. And I love them tanking this from max range and then trading it to the Sobek. It's so much effective health use. Flung back, though. Sporks is heart-bombed, and he's stunned.
Yeah, that's a double stun, and here comes the hi-rez one more time. Nowhere to go for the hug bug. He's going to be forced out. QG focuses their attack onto the Phoenix. Isis forced ultimate in the back line, looking to heal up a little bit thanks to the ultimate out of Knight. That's going to present a problem for Sobek. He's a little bit too deep, but he's just so tanky.
I mean, at this point, how do they take him down? They're trying to rush it down, but they're going into instant death. He's going to get the resurrect.
Nice ult.
Sporks will come back
Thor's
to
up.
Biggy.
Thor's ult.
No, you won't do it. You won't do it.
He won't do it.
Yeah, he won't. They'll clear this out. They lost 2 Phoenixes for this one, and Fire Giant is still available.
I like this decision by Avant Garde being aggressive here.
I know they need to.
This just speaks to their playstyle so much. We saw it in the last game against Enemy. They chased them down there, but then they kind of overextended and paid for it. They can't afford to do that here. If they overextend, they lose 1 or 2 members. That could be game.
14,000 experience, 15,000 gold.
Wow.
As the Huaigu Reapers, right?
Chaogu.
Chaogu Reapers.
You spend so long being the Chonga guy.
I know.
I can do that. Chaogu.
Mikasa's in a lot of trouble from the back line. MasterLu trying to make it better.
Ooh.
Rowe's going down. That's going to be a 1-for-1 trade so far in favor, but Ochita out of position. Perfect stun. And Yuanqidai trying to get to the back line. Doesn't waste his damage until he gets there.
A little bit of trouble for Sporks. 3-on-1. Players from Avant Garde playing on the backside. Here comes If. That's going to be some trouble. Down goes Sporks. MasterLu one more time on the Cupid.
I don't see many places Subfloor can go. He's slowed inside of stunned, and he's back to the base.
Knight one more time. 3 in a row. No deaths. Looking very strong for the famous mid laner on Chaogu.
Left side, Biggy's the only one left.
Him.
I mean, why even bother? They have the fire minions burning into the base. The Titan's exposed in 2 lanes. Biggy's trying to fight and keep
Cupid's
Knight away.
by himself. Cupid's by himself.
Doesn't
There's
need
minions. There's Cupid. 50% already on the Titan with just 2 members. Down goes the ultimate. And here it is. Down goes the Titan. Avant Garde. See you later.
The power of love, too much for Australia as Cupid closes that one out. Biggy left alive to watch it die, and it's with the hopes of Australia.
You think we do better against crocodiles, you know?
A little bit of experience there, but less experience against these Chinese teams.
A great showing, definitely, from the guys all the way from down under. Guys, give it up, please, for your Australian powerhouses, Avant Garde.
Always fun to take a look at the different regions that come together. And again, taking a look at the different play styles and everything that comes down to it. China has been lauded. And even I remember watching the Chinese regionals on the American broadcast, and people were just talking about how they weren't going for the objectives. Well, if it works, that's how you play.
How do you feel?
A little bit disappointed Avant was knocked out on the first day, but you know what? This is a very good learning experience for them. They're going to learn from this international competition they face. I mean, Enemy, they played them game 1. Enemy beat them quite convincingly, but that's such a good learning experience considering Enemy then took down Fnatic.
Well, that's it for the PC side of things. Me and F-Dot are going to take a break for a second. F-Dot, where are we going?
I'm going to take a break, and right now, we're going to the analyst desk.
Thank you so much, guys. Man, I have to say, one more time, you know, how does it feel to be right?
It feels pretty good. How does it feel in Canada? Does it feel good to be right?
Oh wait, you guys weren't right again. Who was right?
I predicted
Your boy.
Epsilon would beat Isurus.
Definitely.
I did that.
That's a
solid
hard
prediction.
one to
I'm
call.
not shooting for
Team
0
one.
right now.
Listen,
so we're good.
all I'm saying is, you know, my predictions are on point. I need to go to the track. I need to try my luck out there. I don't know. I have a skill. I have a gift.
People who watch the Pro League know never follow my predictions because I'm wrong.
Okay.
Most of the time, I was like the word. I'm not even going to get into it. But my predictions, you know, they're right. It's the teams and the players. They make sure I don't get them right.
Yeah,
I blame
definitely.
them.
Yeah, definitely. All right, moving forward. Great matchup though for QG, man. You know, these guys just have been so impressive. I guess, you know, just to kind of dive into it, Cupid double kill for that Gold Fury. Love it. That was awesome. Way to go, Cupid. You know, I think a lot of people were really hyped up to see that pick come to fruition there. And as we take a look here at the player damage as well as the rest of the stats, you got to talk about that Knight with Zeus. He did work.
I think it's pretty obvious that QG was way more comfortable with their picks this game. Knight on Zeus was way better than previously on as Anubis. We had the kill lane coming out of If and MasterLu. That Sobek Cupid was amazingly well. It did so strong, and this is definitely more of the picks that they should be leaning towards going into tomorrow's games.
Keep in mind too, you know, QG, they had that best of 1 against Fnatic, and you know they had to get that Anubis pick, which a lot of people were really excited about. But you know what, Fnatic, they were ready for it, and they were able to counter against it real easily. This time around, though, Knight Zeus has been a difference maker, and one has to wonder if Knight had access to that Anubis, or to that Zeus. Maybe we could be singing a different tune about his performance in particular in that game.
Yeah, I think what we found out here is that Knight is, you know, everyone knew this from last year. Knight is a very good player. He's very talented, and he was the star player from last year. And when you put him on a guard that's actually good and not Anubis, he does tons of work.
Your hate for Anubis is clear. Okay, we get it. You do not like him.
I really like him, but it's just, come on, I've done it.
That's a low blow for a guy who's been wrong 3 times in a row. Come on.
Okay, all right, Golden Boy, I see how it is. I thought we were the tag team.
Oh, no, we're a team.
Okay,
We're a team. We just, you know, happen to disagree sometimes, you know? and
shots are fired.
I love being right. You clearly enjoy being wrong.
No, I do not,
so.
But I just happen to be wrong quite often for some reason.
Oh, man. But yeah, Atarax, continue your point.
Well, I mean, that was it, really, that Knight. You know, you put him on a Zeus, he's a top-tier god, as we're quickly seeing. Teams are really starting to fall in love with him again, and he does a lot of work. So, you know, shouts to Knight for that one. But the real star for me, though, was Mikasa on the Hades.
Yeah.
You know, he went for a tanky-style Hades, which is not normally what I like. It says to Incon, you know, I think you should go assassin, you know, full damage and just pick someone off at the end. But he really made that tanky max CDR style work. He was constantly initiating these fights and abusing the low mobility that Avant Garde had and really picking them up and separating them. So while Avant went in, they got picked off, and then Hades would still be left alive, much like a Xingqian, and his team came up and helped him out.
Yeah, he was doing an incredible amount of work there, making sure to wait for people's beads to be down or for the movement abilities to be down. When either of those down, he went in. He was often getting 2 3-man ults where they could not possibly get out, which is incredible on Hades and exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of, we didn't get a chance really to break down Hades because that was the final pick, and then we had to throw it immediately to the casters for the game. So yeah, I mean, again, we didn't get to talk about it. And seeing how big of a role hi-rez played here for QG, you know, I guess the other teams have to wonder, was it just Avant Garde's, I don't want to say inexperience, because clearly they're a great team, they're here at the World Championships, or was it just hi-rez being that good for QG?
I think QG played their game and Avant Garde weren't able to because, you know, we heard Hughes say it on the cast, right? Avant Garde, like, destroyed their region. There was no one who could ever compete with them. They weren't used to playing in the defensive style. No one plays aggressive against them. So they're not used to the aggression coming out of China, and you really saw how powerful it was. Mikasa specifically, like you said, able to get a little bit ahead of Sporks, and then just like he was in all these fights and Sporks wasn't, and by the time Sporks finally rotated, the fight's over, and so he wasn't able to get anything, and it was kind of like, it wasn't like a super slow bleed, but you know, Avant were able to find a kill in a fight, right? But they lose one and a buff or a gold fury, they lose two, so it's like all these fights, they'd find something, just not enough. They weren't able to stay even.
For me, it really came down to the entirety of the team comp. What are you going to do? When Cupid ultis you, are you not going to beat and then use your movement ability to get out of that? Well, now the hi-rez is going to get you. Are you going to use your movement ability to get out of the hi-rez? Now the Cupid's going to ult you. Meanwhile, there's a Zeus ultimate the entire time, so you have to make sure you get out of that. There was so many abilities you had to make sure to get out of, and if you didn't use your beat to get out of one, then you were dead for another.
And that's an unfortunate situation, without a doubt, for Avant Garde. But again, QG just they had them play right into that, and it looked wonderful. I mean, you know, even opportunities that we got to talk about, that mid tier 2 dive that ended up occurring there at around 1830. That was a 3-2 favor for Avant Garde, right? So you're thinking, okay, Avant Garde, you know, you're starting to get things going. But then after that, you get another skirmish, you know, and not only did QG get Phoenix, but on top of that, they went 3 for 0, right? They just dominated Avant Garde. So it was like any opportunity that AG had was just immediately taken away by QG, and that was definitely something that caught my attention.
Yeah, and you could see Avant try and force some stuff, most notably over on that left-hand side. I believe it was after the 20-minute mark. They were trying to pick off a player and go for that tier 1 tower, but Ochita went a little bit too far. He died, and that kind of like snowballed to the end of the game where we saw more Phoenixes taken. So, I mean, Avant Garde, they tried to fight back, but unfortunately they were just too far behind at that point.
I think that really spells out the game for me when with Avant Garde. It was, aside from the minor slip-up by QG at the tier 2 in the middle lane. Avant Garde just, you know, they would bounce back from the initial initiation, and then they just go too far, they chase too much, and then they get collapsed on, or one of them gets picked off, and then it's over from there. And it was just, for me, it was thinking that they could really fight something when they couldn't.
And at that point, too, they were already so far behind, not to mention they were in the losers bracket in their possibly final game. They were probably a little bit antsy trying to get themselves back into the game. They're like, oh, we have an opportunity, here we go, and then they took that opportunity a little bit too far.
And that's something I want to take, that sometimes it's a little bit of out of game, and it wasn't in game, but I took note of it both times that we saw Biggy on stage. Just like his body language, he was very passive, very timid, where everyone else has been pretty like, hey, you know, QG fighting, you know, they were like ready to go, and Biggy's like, you know, it's an honor to be here, very passive, very timid. And that's, you know, not the Avant that, you know, we wanted to see come in here. Want to be like, we're here to win, we're here to play. And I didn't see that fire from him. And I don't know if that played a part in, you know, the player's mentality, but it looked like it to me in the gameplay.
Well, yeah. Well, I think that, you know, for China, and actually let's take a look at the bracket and talk about this, because you have 2 teams from China in the top 8. What does that say right now about Smite in that region? That's huge. In my personal opinion, at least. I think that's big.
I mean, clearly China came to play, and their aggressive play style is, you know, they didn't come scared at all. We saw hi-rez play a little bit scared. We saw Avant play a little bit passive at times. But, I mean, this team, both these Chinese teams, they came and they played their game style. And because they were so comfortable, they just came out over the other international competition. And we might even see them go farther, although both of them do have to face the first seeds in each respective region.
Having to go against Paradigm or Cloud9 tomorrow is definitely not your preferred case. But at the same time, the other guys you'd have to go against, there's Epsilon still in this, Fnatic, Enemy Esports, who came out with an incredible win over Fnatic earlier. So there's really no easy matches at this point. You're really getting down to the nitty-gritty, and every single match is going to be incredibly competitive.
Yeah, again, you know, I think for, you know, Smite in China, this was a big day for them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Granted, they could be, you know, for one more WWE reference, it could just be the immovable object. You know? I don't know if they're the unstoppable force, but without a doubt, Paradigm and Cloud9 certainly are immovable objects in this space. it's going to be a challenge for them. But I think this will be a big opportunity for, you know, both Chinese teams actually learn a lot, you know, going into tomorrow. I'm not going to count them out yet, though, right? One thing to note is also QG, that matchup against Isris actually, against Avant Garde, looked a lot more dominating than the OMG matchup against Isris, right?
Sure.
I think that QG actually, when they're able to run what they can run, are a pretty good team based off of what we saw. They knew what they wanted to accomplish. It wasn't like, you know, all right, let's try out a couple things and see what works out, right? And you know, hope that these fights work in our favor. QG looked like they were in the driver's seat the whole time.
Yeah, I agree. We saw some fantastic team fights and mechanical play coming out of them, which is exactly what we expected. Maybe the objectives, we didn't see the same control that we'd expect out of like Epsilon, or that we saw out of Epsilon today, actually. But they're not that far off, and I think that really speaks volumes to the region. And I'm excited to see, you know, what they can carry on over from day to day.
All right, so this is our final matchup of PC Smite. Guys, before we close it out, thoughts in regards to today? Incom, we'll start with you.
I think we had a great day here today. We had some pretty close matches, and we even had a few upsets here. Enemy taking up Fnatic. I know not many people thought that was going to happen, except for maybe the audience here in North America thought that was going to happen, voting for the, you know, hometown Enemy. But overall, great games today, and I'm excited to see who comes out on top tomorrow.
Ataraxia?
Yeah, it's the same thing. You know, we saw exactly what we wanted to see out of Epsilon with that dominant performance. And for me personally, I'm super hyped to see Epsilon because they're very disciplined is the main thing that I took from their games, especially from their first one. They're here seriously, you know. They're having fun. Obviously, it's Smite. You play games, you have fun, but they are taking this so seriously, and that comes across in their play, and I absolutely love that.
And what about for you, Donis?
Enemy, they're a real contender. We said, everyone's like, okay, the top four are going to be Fnatic, Paradigm, Epsilon, Cloud9. Enemy came here. They look just as good as they did when they faced Envy in the Super Regionals. They're giving it their all. They clearly came prepared. They could potentially take it all, and if anyone sleeps on them, they're playing to lose.
All right, so before we end it, match of the day for tomorrow, match you're most looking forward to, lightning round, Ataraxia, go.
Paradigm versus whoever makes it through.
Okay.
Anything seeing Enemy play again now that they've won today, I think that's going to be an exciting match.
Epsilon versus Fnatic, not even close.
I got to actually agree with you
Yeah.
there. Look at that. We agree on something.
Hey,
Isn't that
something.
nice?
So does that mean I'm going to get it right? Like, that's going to be the most
Probably
exciting
not.
match of the
Probably
day?
not. No, but I am excited for Epsilon versus Fnatic. That is probably going to be one of the most hype matches that we have going into the quarterfinals tomorrow. But that's going to do it for us here at the Alienware Analyst Desk for today. Folks, it has been an absolute pleasure, and we hope that you guys have enjoyed all the games. But we are not done yet. No, we are not. We have Xbox Smite coming up next after this. It's going to be the semifinals between COG and Aware. You're not going to want to go anywhere. Support these guys. It's been a grueling road for Xbox Smite players as well, but it has been an absolute pleasure. Of course, for Anatoly, QE2Q, and everyone else here at the Analyst Desk, big thank you for everyone tuning in today. We will see you all tomorrow for some more Smite action here live from Atlanta, Georgia.